Good morning, today 125. How's things? It's good for me, I hope it's good for you. Let's get upstairs and have a quick look. We're now getting to a point where the house is coming at the ground too high for the camera to be put where it was. So I've mounted it over there for now, but we're going to have to extend it up. So, benefit of having flip-flops. Then go for the swim pool. Still got a bit of a mozzie problem down there. Need to get that sorted. Okay, so where are we today? I'm meant to be meeting the main man on site to discuss the plan moving forward. There is enough blocks. Just about to do a couple of layers today, but not a great deal of material. And the main thing at the moment is obviously mixing up the sand and cement and making sure we get the columns poured. We've still got to get this column over here, the 12-inch blocks and the 16-inch wall. That needs to be sorted as well. We also need to pull this up as well because I've got a guy downstairs doing the basement today. So we need to remove this. So it lets a little bit of light and air down there. I think it has been nailed, if I remember rightly. Yeah, a couple of nails. So we need to get that pulled up. Electrician's got to come out and move some conduit, which we know about already. We need to start marking out the floors and walls so we know as and when the roof goes on whether we're going to go with a concrete roof or not. If we go concrete roof, obviously there's going to be jacks everywhere in here, so really important to get all of the actual walls marked out so that the acros can be placed accordingly, otherwise you're not going to be able to do the walls. So yeah, we're going to have to certainly have to discuss and decide whether we're going concrete roof or wooden roof today. Wooden roof, I personally feel, look at the span, we've got 20 foot to the middle wall and 20 foot to the front wall. I would say that wood is not a great option, but the builder seems to feel it is. So anyone out there that's got any advice on roofs, certainly of spans of 40 feet, I'd like to hear from you. We're concerned, you can go 8x3s and you can turn it to truss. I suppose you could probably do it, but again, the material and the time I would say it's going to take to do that. Bearing in mind we have all the formwork, we have all the jacks downstairs, but also we can't take them out for 21 days. So we've had a week and a half nearly already, so we've only got another week to go. So it would probably make more sense to take the jacks and the formwork downstairs down and re-erect it in here and go with the concrete roof. That's my personal feeling. Downside to that, obviously the jacks would have to remain in here for 21 days and we'd have to work in and around the jacks to try and get the whole place fitted out. So that means that even if we manage to pour in 10 to 12, maybe 14 days, that would take us to, where are we now? That would take us to the end of the month. That means that we're not going to be taking the jacks down until the end of November, or at least the third week of November. So that would be the downside to that. But then you've got a solid concrete roof. You put some form of finish on the top of it to make sure it's sealed, and then maintenance-wise and weight-wise, because also we're going to be putting solar up there, it might be the best option we physically have available. So that's the options at the moment we need to talk about today, and also the cost. What's the cost for a wooden roof and the finish versus a concrete roof? We've also at some stage today got to look at the pour. It's been neglected, unfortunately. There's nothing really taken place since the pour, so we've got to look at getting the material to cover the inside ordered. We're going to go for a very dark blue, if not black, because we want the sun to attract to the water to heat naturally. We've got to look at the decking and the issue in and around the depth. We were going to use a composite board from the States, but now the concrete guys unfortunately have ballsed up the levels. The chances are we're not going to be able to use that now because of the depth issue, so we need to look at the solution around that. We've obviously got to sort out the shower, so there's a wall that's got to be built behind the shower, and then we've got to deal with the trap issue because obviously it raised in the concrete, so we're going to have to now probably find a way of either putting some form of pad over that or smashing it through, getting rid, finishing it off and using the run down to the gutterage for the gutter itself. So not ideal. We've still got to get the water pumped out, or at least get the levels raised around there, because that's obviously not ideal. We've still got to get this column done, which is pretty much what that's for. We've got to get the column raised up in the air, get the block put in here, take that to height, and then there'll be obviously the beam itself will tie above. And we've still got to cut that window out over there, which they forgot about, so we need to get that done as well. This obviously could do with getting emptied at some stage today as well, rather than being left. Until you tell people to do something, it will just be left. So at the moment, the block layers are standing around. Admittedly, it's only 8:08, but I think it's mainly because they don't really have any blocks. So they're short of blocks, which means on a price they can't make any money. So big man's just turned up. But blocks wise, we are out as far as I'm aware. No blocks anywhere, so we need blocks here yesterday. But as I say, the main thing is the guys need to be pouring concrete down the walls today, so I would assume they're just going to do the steel ones on these inner walls. The external walls probably the same thing, I would have thought. So we need to find out what the plan is on that. This beam and the one at the front's got to be redone, so I need to talk to them about what they're going to do there, but I think we need to just tell them what we need to do, because every time we ask them to rectify it, they don't rectify it. So again, like I said last night, this beam itself is meant to be 12 inches, and there's the lines. As you can see the lines there, look. And look at the beam is just not straight, so we need to get that done as soon as possible. Then we need to get that coated. It's been sanded down, we need to get it sanded and coated. They've started taking the other beams up. As you can see, the ones that are okay, we've got the concrete base done, and we've got the height done. But again, they've got to be bloody straight. Can't keep on rectifying the work all the bloody time. What else? We've got to talk to the engineer about what he suggests about the roof. As you can see, the roof over here is meant to be 30 foot by 40 foot. So it's a massive span going right across here. So we've got to get some advice about how that roof is going to be designed in order to go over that span without any columns. Obviously, I don't want columns in the middle. I want this a big open plan space. So we need to get some advice about how that's going to work. So I need to talk to him today, and at the same time we can get some more advice from him about what he suggests we do with this roof here, the span of it. So that's what I want to try to do, to arrange for the engineer to come out tomorrow if we can, and have a good sit down with him and find out where we are on the project and what he recommends we need to do moving forward, just so that we can start planning and costing as we speak. As I say, the builder wants to go with a flat wooden roof, but it's not the ideal scenario as far as I'm concerned. I think concrete's the only thing we can do. So let's have a quick look. 1:45. Let's have a quick look what the guys have been up to. Spraying lines on the floor. That's probably the drainage, I would have thought. Let's see the line through here. I think that's where the actual drainage is going to come from the house. So we've got here we've got a bathroom here. We've got a bathroom here, and they'll bust out the wall here, drainage, connect those all the way along here, over to the other side, just behind me. Then when it gets to there, they'll then route it that way down towards the septic tank, which is hopefully going to be turning up this week. Let's have a quick look what the guys have been up to today. It's mainly been pouring the bores to stable up the actual walls themselves. They've done a bit of block work, and there's been a bit of rebar going on as well. They've also been painting the steel as well to get that treated, because again it's been out in the open for quite some time. So as you can see, it's been set and it's now been coloured up. Sand is everywhere. I'm trying to protect my floor. Another course has gone on, but they are now very, very low on blocks. We need to get the blocks ordered sooner rather than later. Looks like they're cranking again on the column rather than resetting like we asked them to. You're never working. So they're trying to crank on here. So as you can see, the centre line is actually here. So trying to crank those two over is just not going to work. We did actually say about just get them reset, cut them off and reset them, because they're far too over. So hopefully he's going to get that done for me. This one's obviously been we've done like a little concrete base for it, and that's now been extended up, which is good. It's good steel. Good colour. Like it. We're taking the actual downstairs off as well, so we can have a quick look inside. Yeah? Who? So I've asked him to be sweeping out downstairs today, so hopefully he's been cracking on with that. Taking this off so I get a bit of air down there and a bit of light. So That's obviously got to be redone again. This one's actually being done, which is good. These have now been extended, but we need to get steels in the front as well. It needs steels in the actual front because this is going to be a big concrete overhang, so we need to make sure that's done as well. What else have we got? We need blocks, big time. How high are we here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 blocks high. It's quite a big lad. See how tall it is. There's a 2-foot beam to go on top of that, and then there's another few blocks as well. So, as you can see, it's pretty high. When you're inside, you can actually see how high it's actually going up. And we've got to go a lot higher than that as well. So we should see what that looks like. And the whole house is doing exactly the same as well. So the house is actually going up the same height. So I think we'll be 12 courses and then a 2-foot beam. How high is that? 11 courses. Well, it's 8 foot. So yeah, 12 courses is 8 feet. And we're actually going 12 feet. So we've got another 4 foot to go on top of there. It's monstrous. This is the same as well. This is going to end up being 14 feet as well. So a 2-foot beam. Plus the blocks on top. I think it'd be about 4 courses will go on top of the 2 foot. So yeah, that's where we are so far. Still have plenty of blocks to lay, so we need to order loads in. The toilet's actually been taken up behind as well. Obviously still a lot more to go into there as well. It's got a 2-foot window in there, which goes in here, again 8 feet tall. This will be 6 feet by 8 feet. So yeah, that's where we are so far. So still plenty of work to do in the afternoon, but material is the main thing. So let's get that ordered in and get smacking up blocks. 4:45. Just turned up to see where people are. We've all finished for the day. Once we start putting some from the line through for the drainage. Don't have to go too deep, obviously, at this end, but we need to work out how shallow we're going to have to be over here, because we're meant to be coming out of the actual wall at the bottom down here to come through the soil. Get this right, through this way. So whatever that drop is going to be there, we've got to drop this way, drop that way to the septic tank. So that's got to be done properly. Otherwise, water will not flow. Or sewage. So anyway, the guys didn't have any blocks on their left, so I'm not too sure if they managed to achieve anything else today. That looks, I mean, they've been doing some pouring, so I don't know where they poured. We've gone 1 course extra on the middle of the wall itself within the house. So we're now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 courses. We need 12 in total, but obviously it makes sense to pour first before they go any higher. This column obviously was sorted out before. This one was meant to be redone today, so what have they got on here? Still not great. Still not cranked it enough. Disappointing, really, because there's the line. This is the line, and we're right on the metal, and the one at the back is even worse. So let's get that looked at later. This one obviously is done and ready to go. This hasn't been removed, and this one still hasn't been moved. And I think the electrician is talking about cutting that out and rerouting that from the ceiling. But the rebar down here needs to go anyway, so, and we need to get this one up to a certain level, obviously, so we need to get that sorted out. Anthony's looking to leave. Alright, you're right. So they've got this covered over slightly, but we do need to get that nailed down really. If it rains, that will come flying in. So we do need to nail that down. Right, so that isn't a column over there, that's just going to have rebar in it. There's a column, that's got to be sorted. This one's okay. All the actual rebar cable all over the floor as always, which, as I always explained, rusts. This wall and column need to be taken to height. I'm not too sure why we're not doing it. I need to get to the bottom of it tomorrow. It does look like they've gone up by 1 course, unless my marbles are playing tricks on me. But yeah, they could do the 12 inches, take those up. I assume it's got something to do with this red area here, which is the electric. So they're probably waiting for Mel to increase the electric element. They were playing around with this column again today, so I don't know what they've done with this. It looks like they've done nothing. It doesn't look like they've done anything with that. Obviously, we coated that with this stuff to try and stop it from rusting, so that's a good job. Yeah, so that needs to be extended. This one's got to be played around with as well. Only minor, but not major. That again, that needs blocks all around. That's all blocks, that one, so that needs to be done. Nothing's been done on there. As I said today, we've gone up to 12 courses in here. Again, we've got to pour, so I don't know how much we've poured or where we've poured, in all fairness. It's something I need to tell the site manager about to see whether he's overseeing what they're doing. They've got a little block through there for some reason, not too sure why. This is where the sink and everything is, so you've got the sink taps, the sink waste. There's a dishwasher going in here and the sink. This is where the 10-foot kitchenette will go along this wall here. That I think is gutterage, which again we've got to try and get sorted out. Guys have half-heartedly emptied here. That's all got to be taken off, and all this has got to be taken off as well. So yeah, we need blocks. So the blocks were meant to be here this afternoon, but there is no blocks as yet. So a little bit of a misfire again today. I'm not too sure how much concrete was actually mixed and poured. We're going to need to get up on a ladder and have a look at all the actual columns themselves to have a quick butchers. We also need to look at what we're going to be doing with the swimming pool area as well, because that's got to start being plastered. So I need to type up a plan later on and send it over to the contractor just to make sure we're on the same sheet. So I'm not seeing any concrete poured in here, so I'm not too sure what the guys were actually doing today. They had the mixer going all day, so they must have been doing something. So there's nothing in here. None of these are poured. None of these are poured, none of these are poured. Yeah, so I'm not too sure what they were doing. Maybe they were doing the wall up there, maybe, the big tall wall. Or maybe doing some of these walls, maybe. So this is poured. I can feel the heat on here. So poured, 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 poured. I would probably, if I was them, pour every one of those, just purely because this is going to be the main support wall in the whole building. So we need to make sure that's absolutely stable. Again, we've got pour in here, and we've got pour in here as well. So I'm assuming, yeah, you can feel the heat on the actual the pour columns. So you can probably walk along and go, yes, yes, definitely yes. Definitely yes. Definitely yes. So they've been pouring healthy on here. You can actually feel the heat. The ones that have been poured, you can literally feel them. They're red hot. Yeah. And you can also see them coming out the top as well, just a little bit here. Look. They've also done the same on here as well. Yeah, these are poured. So yeah. Looks like the main thing's been obviously pouring these columns today, but again, to a certain extent, that really is the 4 labourers' jobs. We've had also 4 masons on site, so to literally just have poured those. I mean, it's a big job and it takes time, but we really need masons laying blocks, and we need labourers pouring concrete. That's what we've got to try and achieve. If we're doing it any other way around, then we're just wasting time. I'm also going to go down and have a look at the basement in a second, see how the guy got on the basement. I've had a guy working on it all day today. So let's go down and check out how he's got on down there. And then we need to make sure tomorrow we have blocks. We have to have blocks. We're going to box this up tomorrow and do the footing on that. We're also going to get those blocked in. So the rebar guys have got to finish off what they've got to do so that we can get those boxed in and finished off too. other than that, that's it for up here for now. Let's have a quick look down here if we can get there without getting covered in garbage. Can we get there? Can we get there? Here we go. Go feel the heat as soon as you come in. Let's turn on the light. Okay, so we need to get down here swept out as well. Okay, so we've definitely got a cleaner, drier environment, that's for sure. So it starts getting a bit more damp than when we come over here. But you can see we've had the spade out, so we'll have a good look down here later. Don't want to go through that with too much rubbish. So we need all of this spaded up all the way along. Scrape up all the concrete. Get these wheelbarrowed away. Again, it's a lot drier down here since we've actually put that over. And again, it's all this over here. This is the bit that I didn't get around to finishing off, so I've had a guy down it all day today, so I need to get the wheelbarrow down it tomorrow. Get some lights set up so we can actually see what the hell he's doing. And we need all down here sorted so we can get it dried. And all this concrete dug up. So yeah, it's a lot better down here than it has been, that's for sure. So we need to get all of it out. All these piles here. Worst case scenario, we should get all of the sand over into that corner there. And once the actual sand's all away, then it should be able to start drying out and get that off every single day, get it aired out. And then we should start seeing dryness like here. Again, break up the concrete. Yeah. And this is for those that see upstairs. This is what's got to be replicated upstairs. So we need to take this block continuously up through the kitchen and let that continue. So yeah, it's a lot better. I mean, this is mainly that being rude to me, big-headed to me. I did all this mainly. So it's just so much better seeing it starting to dry out. So we need to, ow, there's a beam there. Here's the broom, so he's been sweeping up into here again. Like, you need to break that up. So yeah, it's not too bad around here. Not too sure that's screwed into the floor. And we've actually got the breather holes here as well coming through from the surfaces. So we've actually got some air coming through, but they've blocked those. We need to open those back up again so we can let it breathe. And then I need him obviously coming through here as well. So we need to, this is completely covered down here. So we need to get all that swept out down there. All the crap out. All the bits and bobs that are, rebar down the floor, 4x2s, Coke bloody bottles, whatever else. So get all that taken out. Give it time to breathe. That's all we need to do, and then that they can actually start drying out, and then we can sweep it properly in there. So at the moment it's just absolutely covered in gunge and whatever else. Boys have been cleaning out the so we've got blocks and everything in front of those, and we need to try and let them breathe. That's the best thing to do. It's obviously where they're needs to breathe. So tomorrow we'll get that opened up so it can breathe. And other than that, it's just it's actually starting to plan this out here. We've got to try and get the septic tank dug out over in this far corner over here. All the drainage from the front house is going to go all the way down that side. Over in this corner, looks like I'm pointing the wrong way. Over in this corner here, believe it or not, I'm actually pointing in the right corner. I'm actually pointing in the corner that's relevant, but on the camera it looks like I'm pointing at the doorway. So if I say where I'm meant to be pointing out here, there's literally drainage coming from here all the way up this wall here to this corner. Then it joins, and it's going to land up coming from this corner all the way along here, and then down to the septic tank, down that way. So we need to get all of that dug out. In order to do that, we've got to move the soil from this side here. We're going to move that in the middle here, and we've also got to move this soil into the middle here. And then we can actually do those tracks. And once that's done, we can level that. And once that's leveled, we can then start bringing more mud in to get that to height. We've got to do the staircase the boundary wall and the staircase down to this door, and obviously just to this piece here, you can see the stills hanging out the wall here. Those stills themselves, that's another set of boundary walls here with staircase going up to the patio area. We've got to do that as well. So it's the drainage area first, the guard walls, and then the steps for both those doorways. Then we can block the doorways up once we've actually finished inside them. The next stage is then to get this thing gone back to whoever provided it and start looking at getting the driveway here up to height. So at this present time, God bloody hell, when you look at it this way, I would say that we are, you spin it around. The actual driveway itself is probably going to be coming to around about where this light block is here. So the driveway itself, yeah, where these blocks change colour, that is pretty much the garage floor. So by the time we get to here, we need to bring this level all the way across here. That mud here, once we dug out the drainage, that's all going to be taken to the same height. So we've probably got around about 3.5 to 4 feet down the back, and we've got about 3 feet here to get back in to greater level. So as you can appreciate, that mud there is going to do nothing at all. We do have loads of mud over the sides. We're going to have to take some of these off, and we're going to have to literally shove it over. So once this is done, we'll literally get a bobcat over there, and we'll just keep bucketing it all over the wall, and then we can get the bobcat in there to level off. But we need that done sooner rather than later, because as you see, the water's not great, and we're entering into the harder part of rainy season, which means we should have quite a deal of rain coming, quite a big deal of rain coming. So ideally we want to try and get all that sorted before the rain actually comes, otherwise we're going to be in a bit of trouble. So they've obviously started on the drainage lines. I'm not too sure what they're doing that for, because we've got a lot of work to do preparation-wise. We're doing that. We'll start getting the labourers digging out obviously where that will go. I can't see it being that actually, because they're trying to run some electrics over to the wall. Maybe it must be, because the drainage itself is going to go from the step, so where the step is here, it's going to run level that all the way down this way. So I would say that they're probably looking to run some electrics from the temporary fuse board down to there so they can power the power tools properly, because again in Barbados they run with a 110. When you start using extension leads on a 110, it means that the power tool doesn't get the right power, and apparently it wears the actual power tool out. So they want to take it directly from the electric. I think that's the main aim at the moment. So yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do with that little channel they're taking out in the floor, just to get the electric cable over there for now. So a little bit of a waste of money, but at the same time it's something they essentially need to do to try and salvage the actual power tools they're going to be using quite heavily. Other than that, what else have they got going on? Let's go around the front. Don't think there is anything else, but let's just double check in case there's anything been done. They obviously took all the formwork down and took parts of the formwork off. They've got a lot of wasted wood here, which I'm not too sure what that all is, but we do need to try and salvage what we can, because we've got a lot of wood work to do. That is for sure. But around this side of the building, yeah, I can't see anything that's obviously relevant, so it looks like that's pretty much it for the day. Yeah, pretty much that's it for the day. So where we're concerned at the moment, still plenty to do. Hopefully we can get the material here for tomorrow if we can, and we've got a whole day finishing off the blocks. By the end of this week, we've got to have the blocks up, the beams, the ring beams around both buildings tied in and boxed in, poured with concrete, and the final courses taken to top, which means we've got to be finishing 12 foot, another 4 courses above the 2 foot beams. And we've got to try and have that done by Sunday. In the meantime, we're starting the drainage on Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is the drainage. So yeah, try and break down the plan and try and stick to it. Otherwise, before you know it, we'll be in December still talking about roofs and stuff. So anyway, that's it in Day of Paradise. I'll check in tomorrow.